Hi guys, I'm Shmi and you join me today in Sweden for what is set to be a desperately special day. Today we're going to be able to take a very first look at this incredible new car, the megacar from Koenigsegg, the Regera. The Regera in Swedish meaning to reign. And we're going to be able to take it out in perhaps not the world's best conditions. It has snowed overnight last night, but we're here outside the factory where yesterday I had a look around with the founder of the company, Christian von Koenigsegg himself, and today we're going to be heading out in this. So the year may only just have started, but this is something truly, truly special, and it would be wrong to say I wasn't a little bit excited. So let me find Christian, and he will show us a little bit around the car. We're joined by Christian. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm certainly very excited to take a look at your new car.
Well, our pleasure. It's really exciting to take it out to people who's never been in the car and to show it off and see what you think.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit of the sort of background of the car and what it is. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so this is the new Koenigsegg Regera. This is the first prototype that's been around since the Geneva Motor Show in March 2015. As we always do at Koenigsegg, we build our prototypes into show cars first, and then they become test mules and test cars. And they of course look a little bit too elegant for that compared to some other car manufacturers, but that's how we do it to not have to build too many cars basically before we start production.
Some of the viewers will of course remember that back at the Geneva show you took me on a tour around this car and some of the sort of introductory features there, so they can recap that one. But let's have a sort of a whistle-stop tour walking around it and take it in.
Exactly. So it is quite a new shape to us. You can of course recognize the Koenigsegg windscreen, the detachable hard top, and there are many feature similarities to our previous cars, but this is a little bit more sleek and elegant, and we call it GT-esque. It's not really a GT car, it's still very much a mega car, a hypercar, a supercar, for all what that stands for. But what's unique about it from our perspective is that we focused on the everyday drivability to a larger degree than we usually do. So we have a rubber mounted engine and transmission on active rubber mounts, more sound insulation, electric seats, everything's very smooth. You have the whole bodywork is hydraulically operated, so you can open and close it without touching anything.
I'm looking forward to a demonstration of that in a little bit.
Of course, active chassis, active aerodynamics, active ride height front and rear, active shock absorbing. This is still the prototype, so there are still a few system needs tweaking and upgrading and testing. We're just getting into this hydraulic bodywork that's a little bit left to do, but it's still working already. But what's most exciting about it is its drivetrain, as we managed to remove the traditional transmission, and for the first time in automotive history we have a car that when you're on the highway you can drive from the combustion engine to the rear wheel with no gearbox or traditional gearbox. It's just a final drive, crankshaft, final drive, wheel. So we've reduced the transmission losses drastically. We get full acceleration and full power utilization with no gears from 0 to 250 miles per hour in about 20 seconds time. And you got that instant responsiveness of an electric car, as well as we have 700 electric horsepower connected to the combustion engine. And 2 of those electric motors are on the rear wheels, 1 for each rear wheel actually, so you get torque vectoring, and thereby we can do some really exciting stuff when it comes to handling and drivability and things like that.
This is seriously impressive. This is quite an engineering feat. So I'm looking forward to seeing it some more. And I noticed as we just sort of come around here, you're running on sort of your development wheels with Michelin Pilot Alpine.
Yeah, so this is a typical winter wheel set for a Koenigsegg. Narrower tires, higher profile, just 19-inch. You don't want too wide tires in the winter. So these are very drivable even in these miserable conditions.
Yes, and that's something I absolutely love, is that being in Scandinavia, Sweden in the north, well, north relative to where I'm from, in London of course, you can take the car out in the snow and continue your development work on it.
Right.
And as we come around, we're listening to the noise of the V8.
Yeah, so we're still doing some tweaking to the exhaust note, and this car is without catalytic converters, so it's more rumbling production version will be. There's also exhaust flaps in the titanium exhaust that we can play with. Right now they're just open, so it has a deeper rumble than you necessarily will have or need to have.
This is definitely where we should quickly mention to the viewers who might not know that your exhaust system is actually the fins here at the side.
Correct.
As opposed to the central piece, which if I remember was the cooling. For
the central piece is the cooling for the inverters, so it's basically the electrical exhaust.
Yes, okay.
That's where the blue smoke light comes out of.
Yeah. And I love your badge.
Yes, so that's the idea for a third brake light that will light up. That's still just also prototype still, but we have an idea to make that to light up like the third brake light.
Okay, right underneath the hydraulic wing.
Yeah, we have the top-mounted active rear wing, which is very unique, as you get the maximum utilization of the undersurface of the wing, which actually creates the downforce. And it's fully foldable, top-mounted and active, and that's something never done before as well.
Very, very special. Right, so I think this is our cue to jump in.
Right.
And go for a little drive. That is just fantastic. Absolutely beautiful. It is a lot nicer and warmer in here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a cold day.
There it closes.
That is a beautiful system for opening and closing the doors there. Controlled through your fairly special interface as well, but
yes.
Immediately in here, it's beautiful, stunning.
Thank you. So given the open exhaust now, it's a little bit more booming in here. But what you can notice compared to other Koenigsegg's, you don't have the mechanical sound of the engine. You only have the exhaust sound.
Okay. Yes.
So off we go.
Yeah.
No gears. So now we're in park. Put it in drive. And take off. Quite undramatic.
Very smooth. So in a typical sort of moment when you're driving away like this, how does it sort of distribute between electric and...
This is mostly electric. So
Okay.
you can hear the rev go up on the combustion engine. And that is to, we use it to give electricity through the crank-mounted motor to the rear axle motors. But then we also have a hydraulic coupling, which pretty much helps out from the get-go, but we don't lock it up until we get to around 30 miles per hour. So the combustion engine is actually driving mechanically directly through, but through like a hydraulic coupling, which is slipping. And it's designed to do that, so it doesn't heat up.
Very true.
And if I push a little bit harder, it feels like a normal car. I mean, the first gear.
But you felt the torque sort of immediately, even on a sort of tiny touch like that.
Right. They put these rocks on the road here in the winter, so that's why a little bit sound from the wheels.
Of course. As we saw yesterday, of course, we're in a full carbon tub, well, the new design of the carbon tub.
Yes.
And all the sounds you hear through the car.
So you can see it's a bit wider tunnel, but it's still not obtrusive.
And that's storing all the batteries.
Yes, there's a big battery in the center
Through
tunnel.
here.
Yes.
And from a sort of aesthetics point of view, you have some beautiful displays. Screens, the main display, the central display.
Yeah, and this is not the final layout. This is like development data here we keep track of. So you will have point by point through the Apple CarPlay, and we will also integrate Google, whatever it's called, the Google version, Android version of it. So you can choose depending on your phone.
Okay.
And then you can get point by point turn as well on the dashboard up here.
Right. Yeah, I think it's pretty special that you develop a sort of version of the software for the development of the car.
Yes.
It's a sort of extreme example, but particularly like the little Koenigsegg touches here on the
it works quite well. Just move them
climate
around
control
to
vents.
direct your air.
But this is a pretty trick screen system.
It is, yeah. It's very bright. It doesn't have the layer of capacitive touch that you normally find on. I'll show you. You can actually point with whatever you want.
So you can touch
have
the
gloves.
screen.
It's got an infrared layer on top of the screen that dictates what you point at. So you get a crisper, clearer screen than if it was capacitive touch. Then you can point with whatever you want.
Okay.
It's not one of those soft, squishy screens. It's just a glass screen.
Controls everything you would ever expect the car to be able to do.
Yeah, and this is also some development stuff here still, but it's getting closer and closer to the final version. All of this can be updated over the air as we go along to the customers as well.
So the car's completely fully connected always, anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Special. Being able to see the wing up in the mirror is quite nice too. What a spectacular car. So, from a noise point of view there, as we heard the car slightly accelerating like you normally would in a car with gears, so the second, third gear, it actually sounded like it was going up through revs.
Right. So that's the hydraulic coupling again. It allows the engine to give power to the rear axle without the need to have the exact same RPM. But when I go at this speed, it's now like locked up to the rear axle. But I can decouple it by push here, so it becomes like similar to a shift down. It's a little bit slippery, but I'll show you anyway. So then I push there and then it revs up. So it's like you can look it up and free it up depending on...
Right, so there's a skill to learning how to drive the car as well.
Well, you can play with it. You don't have to push here. If you push hard enough on the throttle, it'll be like a kick down anyway eventually.
Yeah, but I mean technically you're only hitting full revs if you're
at top speed. Otherwise, yes.
A lot of people, I think, when you sort of announced that you were introducing this single gear, gearbox-free kind of system, worried about what that meant in terms of the tone and the noise and excitement of the car. But from my first couple of minutes in here, there's no loss of drama at all.
Right.
And that's an important little touch.
You don't miss shifting driving the car. It's got this massive power and directness, and the possibility to play with the RPMs anyway. But it's not like one of those cars with a CVT where it's just slipping and sliding all the time. Now I'm locked in, like direct drive. Yeah. You get the normal sensation.
Yeah. I feel like I can tell what you're saying about sort of positioning it slightly more as a GT in the loosest sense of the terms, because it does feel, just driving along, very, very civilized. I guess on the other side of it, you know what it's capable of.
Right.
Because your performance sort of figures and records and what this thing's going to be able to achieve are fairly mind-bending.
Right.
it work between the left pedal and right pedal?
So this will soon be activated as an extra regen button, which you can use. The car is always regenning when you let go of the throttle, similar to a Tesla. But for example, if you're on a track and so on, you will want to maximize regen. You push this and you push it again, and then you increase your regen when you're slowing down. So it's like a brake paddle.
Right,
and this is like a shift down paddle.
Okay, because that was one of the questions everybody wanted to know is why you still have the paddles.
Right.
So how do you put the car into reverse?
So when you're standing still, if you push both of these, you get into park. If you push this one, you go into reverse. And reverse is fully electric.
Okay.
It's just the rear axis. We have no reverse gear.
Yeah, okay. So it's fully electric when you're going backwards.
Yes.
Very trick. You have to think about how to connect all of those things up.
I can demonstrate the reverse over here.
It's one thing, I guess, creating the technology, but it's another thing trying to make it real world applicable and come up with the interface of a sort of system.
IRL is always a challenge compared to just wild ideas. We have a tendency of converting them from dreams to reality quite quickly at Koenigsegg.
Yes.
Well, out on the airfield. So now we really have wintry conditions here.
The concept of what we're doing right now, driving this car on snow, is fairly bonkers, but incredibly impressive. Just thinking that you create and develop and test through these conditions in the winter.
Right, yes, we're in Sweden, so the good thing is we have an office in Dubai and we have a lot of clients in the Middle East, and we're in Sweden, so we have the two extremes.
Yes, well, you were saying when you develop the car, obviously the radiators at the front have to be able to cope with the Middle Eastern heat.
That's it.
So you have to really, really create the cars for everything. Oh, I just spotted the wing rising up there. So it's automatically lowering and raising
speed related, yeah. And we've actually on this car we're racing it a little bit sooner than we would maybe otherwise. We wanted to work a lot, so it goes up and down all the time.
Okay, so it's being tested.
Exercises, different weather.
Yeah. Getting the real world experience of how everything comes together. So this is a slightly different look to the runway than on previous visits here.
It is. So we can slide around a little bit.
A little bit.
Let's see what happens. It's easy to control, you know?
Seems very easy to control.
So probably 0.1 G in the corner. Anyone can play in the snow with these cars, they're so simple to drive.
Yes.
But yeah, can't put the power down.
No. Yeah, so I think the last time I was here was jump on the runway was jumping in. Well, no, the Gumball 3000 stop here, of course.
Right, yes.
That was a fantastic day bringing the Gumball to Koenigsegg. But before that was jumping on this very runway with Robert in the 1-to-1.
Right.
That was an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah, that's a very exciting car.
Yeah, oh yes. Love to be able to experience what this car is capable of in similar conditions when the weather's better.
You have to come back for that.
Any opportunity, it's a very special thing to visit you.
So even 2,000 Newton meters in the snow, you can drive very safely and control it very easily. It's a winter's car. That's why we have this option with the ski box as well.
Oh yes, of course. So you've maintained this familiar roof.
Yes, I mean the roof panel is pretty much the same. It's a new locking system.
Okay, yeah, I noticed that. It's much easier to install and release without the tool.
You don't need a tool. And on the production cars, there's also a little button here, like a safety switch. So
okay.
Yeah,
but it still stows away in the bonnet.
Still stows away in the front. So. I'll show reverse.
Oh yes.
So park over here. Push reverse here. Car, and then we go backwards. Only on electrical motors.
So you hear the gentle whir of the electrics, but the petrol engine is completely idling.
Yes.
That's quite surreal.
Quite undramatic. I need to drive.
Let's do a demonstration of the new hydraulically operated front, rear and doors of the car then. This is what you could see from the inside with using the touch panel to open it up. That is absolutely awesome. So the front storage compartment where you can place the roof, as with the previous Koenigsegg's, it fits perfectly in there. So we come around to the rear, you can catch a glimpse of the engine in there, 5 litre twin turbo V8. See how the wing sits back down as well. That's spectacular. Absolutely awesome to see that. Remarkably controlled.
It's so torquey, isn't it? Immediately. That responsiveness,
Yes.
it's just...
The introduction of the hybrid system, electric system. I remember you always said it sort of you'd have to wait until the right technology was there to introduce electric into your
That's
car.
it.
And you created the right technology, and now was the right time.
It was the right time. We just matched the battery cell technology we needed to pack this amount of punch in this small area. I mean,
Yeah.
in the central tunnel here, we have 500 kilowatt of electric power.
Yeah,
that's like 700 horsepower.
Yeah, that's a fair.
Very small battery.
And the electric power in here isn't always available, all of it, is it? It sort of distributes. You sort of limit it to start and introduce it further up the performance, or?
Well, the thing is, the electrical motors cannot give its full power at low RPM. It gives full torque.
Yes.
And as you accelerate, it gives more and more power.
Yeah.
So you can't drain 500 kilowatts standing still unless you spin the tires. So
Which would be a little bit ineffective.
yeah, you get when you're at about 100 kilometers per hour, you have 500 kilowatt draw, and then it stays like that for up until 250, and then it starts leveling off. But then you have the full power of the combustion engine. So they
Okay, so they work together.
they work together. That's it. And you have enough to spin the tire from zero. You don't need 500 kilowatts to spin the tires at zero either. You need a torque.
Yes.
So you always have, basically you can spin the tires from 0 to 280 kilometers per hour in the dry.
Yeah. Okay.
And over 280 kilometers per hour, you can't spin the tires anymore. Then you can just accelerate very,
So
very
you can
fast.
still be spinning your tires.
But at any given time, if you turn off the stability and traction control, at any speed from 0 to 280, as soon as you floor it full, you can rip your tires loose instantly.
Okay.
So enough. That means it's enough, right?
That definitely means it's enough.
Yeah.
And just while I'm thinking about it, right above the batteries, you have this center area, and I guess this was the pre-development console. You've got a new system that's going to go in here.
So we have redesigned this a little bit. So you have door control buttons, windows, and things here. We'll show that in Geneva. In a quite nice shape with a Koenigsegg logo inside. Then we increased the space a little bit for the cup holders to make it a little bit more stable. This is just prototype stuff. You can kill the car here.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
No, you need that for the development cars, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, all very trick. This is a very unusual environment.
We're doing 115 in deep snow.
Yes.
120. We did like 0 to 100 there in maybe 6-7 seconds.
Yeah.
Snow.
Yeah. Incredible.
So it's a good winter's car. Look, no hands.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Driving dead straight line. Your cars have always been so famous for keeping their line dead straight, even under braking.
Look at these conditions. I mean,
I wouldn't be so confident with my car out on this snow. See if I can catch the wing dropping.
Sure, right? Oh, here it is.
The wing going down there. Spotted by some local car photographers. As part of our photo shoot, we found this very random fuel pump, so we're going to line the car up as if we were filling it up. Now, Regera itself doesn't actually have a fuel cap on the outside to fill up the car. You open the rear deck, so you actually hydraulically open it as you saw earlier, and the fuel pump is underneath, which is really rather cool. And then around here, you have the fuel cap. Very clean. Quick demonstration here of the lift system, which lifts really rather high, because obviously in the normal ride position the tyres are very high in the arches, but that gives it a lot of front clearance. It's going to be able to get over anything. Pop it back down, you can see how it normally sits. Very, very snug in the arches, for aerodynamics of course. System.
Yeah, not that we really need it.
Always best to be safe, especially when you have a lovely carbon fibre front splitter.
That's it. These winter tires scrape it and that's it.
Back we arrive towards base in what is a truly, truly spectacular vehicle. You have created something legendary with this. I always feel it's so iconic arriving back at the offices of the factory here.
Right.
You have such a sort of special location.
It's a nice view here. I mean, when you look a bit further, we have the little hill there, and landscape and airport, and airplanes coming in and out all day long. It's quite
and now
nice.
you get the view of the cars in the showroom as you drive past.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And we're back.
What a special day. Thank you so much. Here we go. Well, wow. This has been incredible. I pointed the camera inside, so we're back in the prototype room, and now we can't see anything that's going on, just delicately parking the car. I'm going to have to get out and take a moment to think about this. back where we started earlier then, outside the Koenigsegg factory, and what a phenomenal experience. I'm just starting to take this in now. I've just been out in the new Regera. I've been intrigued since day one as to how that technology was going to work, and there we've seen it from the man himself, from Mr. Christian von Koenigsegg, who is such a lovely guy. So a huge thanks to him, of course, for allowing me to come down and share this experience with you and show you what the car's like and take you through sort of how it is just being there first person sat inside the Koenigsegg Regera. That's just insane. And it's winter, it's snowy, it's Sweden, it's January. Oh gosh. I mean, I'm sure it's all sort of coming across in the video, but this has been a pretty spectacular day, and we had a look around the factory yesterday, things gearing up with the Regera RS production, getting ready for Regera, of course. Exciting things coming at the Geneva Motor Show. And you can just about sneak a peek in there of the crash test car that's going to enable Regera to go through US homologation for sales in America, of course. But this has been a truly, truly spectacular day. Absolutely amazing. We've shot some wonderful photos, and I really hope you've enjoyed seeing this kind of insight into the car and had a first sort of look, in-depth kind of look at the Koenigsegg Regera. So a big thanks to everybody who made all of this possible to come down today. It's been brilliant. Thank you very much for watching though. Make sure you're subscribed, check out all of the other videos, and I'll catch up with you again very, very soon. Cheers! With the quest to find which is the most exciting to take out and drive. These 5 things I love about my Ferrari FF. First, driving the Koenigsegg Regera R, and not only am I driving an